Black Myth Wukong. We need more games like Black Myth Wukong. Hello guys, it's Lull Gaming over here, and today I've compiled some of my Black Myth Wukong gameplay clips here to talk about it for some time. And why it's so good and how it makes me wish that there were more games like it. And how exactly it compares with the other games currently in the industry. And how it's better than them and feels fresh when compared with them. I'm not following a script here, so I have just some bullet points here, so I'm just gonna expand on them. So I advise listening to it while doing something or eating something or having something tasty for your dinner or for your breakfast for a bit while watching this or listening to this. Don't worry, there are no spoilers in this video. There are visual spoilers about some areas and bosses at a later point in the story, but nothing that spoils the story of the game. Not that you'll understand the story on your first playthrough, or unless you already know about the source material that this game is based on, the well praised and much touted novel, the novel being called Journey to the West. And don't think of it as a bad thing that you don't understand the story just based on the game, because I think it's a very interesting world and a universe. Once you know the context about it, I think you should know about this story and see how a lot of things that you thought were cool were kind of copied or inspired from the source material of this game. Now, getting to the general setup of this game, on the surface, or to put it shortly, it's a story about gods and their cruelty, their manipulation, their schemes, their ego, and the fight and all the struggles for freedom to escape all those things. The freedom aspect of the story, I kind of relate to it, and I'm sorry, I'm saying I relate myself I'm already relating myself with the Sun Wukong or the Monkey King or the Monkey, whatever you wanna call him, or the Destined One. He's cool, believe me. Anyways, no more time wasting it. I'll get straight to it. The things that you'll notice the most about this game is that how beautiful it all looks here. Graphically, this game blows your mind right away from the start. Personally, for me, I don't know what you call it, but I think it's the nanites technology in the Unreal Engine 5. I might be wrong about it, so I'm sorry for the mistake, but I think it's called the nanites technology. And all the clutter in the environment, the rocks, the pebbles along the path that you walk on, or any place that you look at, it's just insane. It constantly made me go oh wow, this game looks really good. You know how usually everyone says the game looks good and you have to stop and look around and admire the beauty of the game. I usually listen to that sentiment and I just feel like I have to stop and admire the draw distance in every game, and it just doesn't come naturally. But except in this case, this game actually made me stop and look around because it's just so damn beautiful. It's not like that in other games, but it's definitely very, very beautiful here. And I didn't even play the maxed out PC version of this game, but just the PS5 version of this game. And I stopped and I looked at the mountains, I looked at the jungles, all the beautiful god rays, sun rays coming through the trees. I looked at the waterfall, I looked at the snow, and when you walk in on those areas, you feel the presence of the Destined One. Because as you're walking, it creates ripples and splashes when you walk, or have a fight on water, or when you walk on the beautiful desert sands, or on the snow. And it constantly gets removed from wherever you're going, or wherever you're fighting. Even your staff constantly removes the sand or snow as you're carrying it in your hand. It's just a beautiful neat detail that I love in this game a lot. I mean, it's in other games like God of War or others, but in God of War it's a story narrative focused AAA game from Sony. It's a movie game, so I think it's supposed to look good there. so it doesn't impress you as quite as much as it does here in this gamey ass game. It's just a nice beautiful detail to have. And even after being so gamey, that doesn't mean that the Black Myth Wukong doesn't have like very beautiful cutscenes in it. It goes toe to toe with the best of the best in the industry. And I'm sorry, like there are a lot of God of War comparisons here, because both the games are about like fighting corrupt gods or the demigods and being free from their manipulative schemes. And I think just that the Black Myth Wukong is just better than those games. It's better than the recent God of War games. Maybe not better than the older God of War games on the PS2 and God of War 3 on PS3, because those Greek mythology games are like perfection in my eyes. But Black Myth Wukong is definitely better than the mid and the painful recent Norse Saga games. The 2018 God of War is alright. I think it's really good, maybe pretty good at times, but it has faults. But I'll allow it, since it's like supposed to be a big comeback game for the legendary gaming figure Kratos. I'll accept whatever like serviceable enough that will give me, as it's the first game in the new Norse Saga, and I was like, when I first played it, I was like, they'll probably improve everything bad about the first game in the second game, right? But no, like Ragnarok is even somehow more shittier and boring than the 2018 one. They didn't improve on anything more slow walkie-talkie cinematic movie segments, like more than there was ever need for it. Slowly like going through the narrow paths, shimmying across the ledges, and less combat sections through the like really boring story segments. Dialogue can be really good in some areas, showing you that it has the potential to be something great. Sorry about that. But to get to it, like, you have to go through the most boring and bloated stuff possible. You're trying your best not to sleep in those moments. Like the combat, the best part of the game, there's just less and less of it throughout the main story. It could be great, but it chooses to be mid every single time. Like come on, like what's going on? Why is there so much miserable, boring stuff between everything in Ragnarok? No more grand spectacle moments, but you get a forced walkie-talkie segments with one of the like dwarf guys, like Brok or Sindri. I have like no personal like beef with them, but to be real, it's like those characters, you don't really care about those characters, and that's how Black Myth Wukong like really beats current God of War games at their own game. No pun intended. By just looking beautiful, you know, giving so much gameplay out of it to you, instead of just forced walking. Like there are insane boss fights with the most appropriately fitting soundtracks for the moment. For the 2018 God of War, I think the soundtrack was memorable and really good and fitting and awesome for whatever you were going through. You can remember it playing in your head with some of the moments throughout the game. But for Ragnarok, it's just generic stuff there. I can't remember of a single moment where I was like, yeah, it's soundtrack is really good. It's getting to me. It's just generic high production like stuff. Even in the gameplay, I think there was a quick turn button in 2018 for the combat, but for Ragnarok you can just like quick turn around. Like come on, what is this? Why is it regressing? Instead of evolving, why is it like going backwards? Ragnarok is, for me, like Ragnarok is very disappointing. You're just fighting the most generic reptile looking enemies in the game. And I can't believe that Sony Santa Monica couldn't just improve anything at all about the 2018 God of War. Instead made it like just much more bloated and made it like much worse in Ragnarok. It's sad, I think. And it's game like these that require the requires the lowest effort possible from these gamer people, like from these normie gamer people that make this game get all the awards and credits, or like the journalists that give this game like all the awards and credits, even though in reality it's just like it requires the lowest effort possible and it's just bad. And that's just like the current status of God of War games. And I'm like sorry for the rant, but I think God of War is like currently the God of War games are bad, and I really wanted to get it off my chest. And I'm sorry to the every fan of this game who think it's a masterpiece, but it's just not the case. Now, what other combat focused game is out there like that, like Black Myth Wukong Storms that everyone loves and is kind of overrated? Okay, I think this might like piss off a lot of people, but I think it's Elden Ring. Yeah, I'm sorry about Elden Ring, but Elden Ring isn't really better. I think it's alright and good, but it's just overrated. People hyped it up like too much, like so much by calling it a masterpiece every single time, but that's not the case. We should only call masterpieces to like those games that actually delivered on it, like From Software's other games that are actual masterpieces. But it's Elden Ring that like gets called that. Like come on, Sekiro is like much better than the Elden Ring. Dark Souls 3 is better than the Elden Ring, and Bloodborne is better than like million times better than the Elden Ring. I think Bloodborne is legendary when compared with the like mid-ass Elden Ring. Like come on, like Elden Ring isn't even original. You can tell the difference between the Dark Souls and the Elden Ring in terms of its concepts or lore. It goes for the like generic knight fantasy stuff about gods or demigods, and just doesn't really do anything interesting with it. I think Elden Ring is like basically like you can even call it like Dark Souls 4, and that's what disappointing about it. Like I've played about 20 hours of Elden Ring, and I was like, I don't really want to play it anymore. It's kind of like boring. Bosses were cool, but that's about it. Like all I could remember is just Godric the boss fight. Godric just cuts off his own hand, and the voice acting was like really good during that moment, and I thought it was just pretty cool. And the Majid fight was also like alright, good. The Stormvale castle looked good, really good, sometimes from the distance. And it was an artistically like it all came together to make me go like wow. But that's just it. Like what was the story? I couldn't tell it straight away. Like I'm sorry for that. I couldn't tell about like what was the going in the story. Like you were collecting your like shards of like tree or whatever. But now let's like compare it with Bloodborne. It goes for an original concept and lore and pulls it off like exceptionally well. You know why you're there? You're searching for plague blood, and an epidemic has happened, and you're hunting through it, and it goes to places from there. And artistically, like Bloodborne, like conveys its atmosphere and surrounding much better than Elden Ring. I'm sorry, my tongue has been slipping a lot here. I'm really sorry for that. Whereas like and for the Elden Ring, like Elden Ring goes for knights, castle, and all that generic stuff that like for me like is already been done in Dark Souls. And I know I'm representing Elden Ring in a very reductive way, but that's just the truth. Elden Ring is not like a FromSoft's like masterpiece. Black Myth is like much more engaging than Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring like prouds itself for its open world. Like yeah, it's good in some places, but it's kind of boring to explore all that stuff. The basic lore and all that stuff like that the build is building upon in. And I'm sorry, like I'm really like I'm struggling to speak here for some reason. The basic lore of the Elden Ring that all that stuff is built upon is not engaging at all for me. It's not interesting, so I just don't feel like the need to like explore. But in Bloodborne, FromSoft's like own different other game, and Black Myth Wukong, every piece of lore is about like million times better and more interesting. So I just get the urge to like explore every corner of the world. Like Dark Souls 3 is like much more focused and better version of Elden Ring. Only thing I can criticize about the Black Myth Wukong is like when compared with Elden Ring is just that there's just like one combo starter in Black Myth throughout the whole game, and it's really bad. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like it's really bad now that I'm like continuously thinking about like how there's this one combo, but I'll leave it. I'm here to talk about the positives of Black Myth Wukong, not all the bad stuff. But the animations are so smooth and well designed in Black Myth that it just feels good, even though there's just like one combo. I mean, yeah, there are many things you can do to make it more interesting, but at the end of the day, there's just like one combo in Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, you can get like one weapon at a later part of the game that changes that one combo just a tiny bit, but it's not enough, I think. I wish there was even like more of it in the game, and that's about how like only one criticism like I can give to Black Myth. And Black Myth like even tells its story in the same way, in a cryptic, indirect manner like the FromSoft games, but except it's much more interesting here than in the Elden Ring. Not only you can look at the environment or the enemies or like the descriptions or really good well put together like confusing dialogues that these kind of games have, to like just to listen to it and put it all together, but you like also get like really good looking cutscenes to like bring in those like grandiose feeling of these moments, which isn't interesting enough in Elden Ring. I think in Elden Ring I'm always like, yeah, I've probably seen something like that in Dark Souls, and the boss battles are also better in like Black Myth here than when compared with Elden Ring. And Elden Ring like also claims to have like many number of interesting boss battles, even though much of the bosses are just, I don't know, most of the bosses are just like normal enemies with an absurdly increased amount of health bar. With not enough moves to justify that big ass health bar, and it's just like giving these four enemies a big health bar with their 3 or 4 moves and just calling that a boss fight. Whereas in Black Myth there are like actual interesting boss fights around every corner that never shows up or again or like repeats itself. Plus you can do like the you can freeze them in like at very funny poses, and it looks very funny like I did recently in that Tiger Vanguard boss fight, and here I'll do it again too. Only thing I can give criticism, like one more criticism I can give, is the camera angle. You don't really like but I think that depends on the player. You're supposed to have special awareness of the enemies and of yourself, how far you are away and how much distance you have, if you'll get attacked or not. I think that's come to the player, so I don't think it's a criticism as much as other people like criticize games for having a bad camera. Like I think it comes to the player when fighting the enemies. And I've fought about like 50 and 60 bosses in my playthrough in Black Myth Wukong, and all of them have like different moves that you have to learn and dodge and like parry, absolute strike through like those moves and counter them to get through these bosses. And that's why Black Myth Wukong is better, I think, here too. And graphically, like Elden Ring looks really good, but Black Myth Wukong is better here too. I know Elden Ring goes for an artistic look than just showing everything in it like based on the raw fidelity graphics power, but like I've mentioned before, Elden Ring like it's very similar to Dark Souls, whereas everything not only looks better in like in Black Myth, but it also looks like different. It looks fresh and original. I mean, granted, yeah, Black Myth Wukong looks better just because it's doing all the heavy lifting in like due to its raw graphics output. But even on an artistic level, I think Elden Ring is not better than like Black Myth. Black Myth has like better like artistically. And that's just it. Don't get me wrong, Elden Ring is very fun experience, but it doesn't hold a candle to Black Myth. It's definitely much more enjoyable like than the miserable God of War like Ragnarok. Ragnarok really puts me to sleep every time I played it. But like Elden Ring is not better than Black Myth. Black Myth Wukong storms Elden Ring. It's much more grandiose and gameplay wise much more engaging, even though that's kind of subjective. and it has more spectacle and awe-inducing moments in it than in Elden Ring. Now, one more thing I can criticize, the Black Myth Wukong about the other than the one combat thing, the actual criticism that I can give this game is that the lip syncing. Other than that, there's like nothing to really complain about this game, which shows how good this game really is. As I'm like nitpicking, as I'm complaining about the lip syncing in an action game. Lip syncing animations of the character faces, there's like nothing wrong with it. It's actually done very well, but only in the Chinese language. Now, this is a very different thing. It's a whole different kind of can of worms here. But the English voice in the game is really good. There's no problem in it. But the Chinese voice here is just better. All the grunts and voice lines during the combat from the enemies and from the Sun Wukong at the start is just perfect. You really feel the struggle and get the feel as if you're fighting for your life. It's good in English too, but it's just better in Chinese, I think. The problem is that in cutscenes, during the cutscenes, the lips doesn't sync well. I'm sorry for that cough. I'm really coughy today. I'm coughing a lot today. I don't know why. I'm not suffering from a fever, but I'm coughing a lot. The problem is that in the cutscenes, the lips doesn't sync very well with the characters. It doesn't sync well in the English voice language. And that goes for the human-looking characters too. I don't know how the other animals or the creatures are supposed to move their lips in English, so I don't know how animals move their lips, in English or in Chinese, I don't know. But I kind of changed between the English and the Chinese language throughout at the start of the game, but I later settled down for the English as it was good enough, not better than the Chinese, but just good enough. And I also didn't have to look down at the subtitles in the English language, so I could actually focus on the gameplay or at the faces or the emotions of the characters during the cutscenes, even though the lips didn't sync very well in the English language. It's a very subjective thing, and I'll leave it to you for you to choose whatever you want. I hope in the next game or Black Myth Wukong 2 or whatever they do for the Chinese, I hope they do really well both for the Chinese and the English language. Good voice actors and good lip syncing for both the languages. I think it's a must for every other game out there. I heard the lip syncing was also off for Ghost of Tsushima for the Japanese language, but then I played it and it was alright. So I think that was just a hoax. Anyways, I'm going off topic again, and I'm sorry this video is a little too long, but please watch this video. I'm trying to make a channel here, and I really need you to watch it, please. And so now I'll delve deeper into the gameplay of the Black Myth, and now Black Myth Wukong gets labeled as a boss rush game, and it's really not. On the surface you can describe it as that, but it's actually a normal action adventure game in which you explore the world and fight normal enemies throughout and make your way to the boss fight and fight many other bosses boss fights along the way. Much more than usually how other game introduces bosses throughout them. So yeah, it's a very well paced game. I think action, more action, boss fight action, and when you get tired from all the fighting, you get enough time to explore the really beautiful looking environments and relax a little instead of just slow walking through everything and then a fight and then boring as sleep inducing slow walking talking section in God of War. Come on, it's God of War has really fallen off, I think. But it's getting critically, it's getting all the praise, so I think it's fine there. But I think it's bad. Usually I think Ubisoft is the worst because of how homogenized every single one of their game feels. But Sony's right up there with them. They have to make everything into The Last of Us because of how good it was. It was good in The Last of Us because it actually has a very, very good deep and nuanced story, like a very good story, and dialogues were natural, and gameplay has a very nice feel to it, and was like much more like than just a low effort excuse they had to put in the game just because it was a game. I'm sorry, don't mind the cough. I know I'm like coughing like for the 100th time here, but I'm just sorry. But that's like that's not acceptable in like The Last of Us 2, because the story is shitty, contrived, and shitty dialogues, too many shitty dialogues, just too many coincidences occurring in the story. So at a base level gameplay, a base level gameplay will not be tolerated there like in Last of Us 2, because the rest of the game is just so shitty. Same thing with the God of War again, with just slow walking, looking beautiful, like trying to like please you, like how beautiful I am, but that's not like, but like impresses me, with not much gameplay in it and just very shitty pacing problems. But none of this shit happens in Black Myth. It's a very well paced gameplay experience. Nice little fights with the fodder enemies, nice beautiful scenarios, and like no slow walking at all. Boss battles like at the right time. Soundtracks really making, like really giving you hard on, and good mysterious dialogues like that keeps you interested in the world. And I'm sorry I got off the track once again, but I'm just sorry. The current God of War game, or just the current games in general in gaming, just really pisses me off so much. Anyways, like the Black Myth of, like the gameplay of the Black Myth, the gameplay consists of like two main things. First the combat, and second the exploration. Now first I'll get to the exploration. Now the one general criticism that the Black Myth Wukong got from the most people is that it's too linear. And then they're saying that you can explore secret areas, any secret areas, a lot of secret areas. So many places for you to go to, and it's just, and they're right, there's like nothing wrong with what they're saying, but it's just sound really bad as much as they're like saying it is. Yeah, it's kind of yes or no, both at the same time. So I'll get into it. Like, yes, there are places that looks like you can go to, but you just get stopped with an invisible wall. But now, like the no part of that argument. No, the game isn't as much linear as everyone has made it out to be. Based on the reviews and the discussion of the game, I always thought that it was just one singular straight line, and it like parts into like just two lines at most for you to go into. And yes, it's kind of like that initially in the game, as it's slowly opening up for the players, and the whole game gets labeled as like linear because of that, even though that's not really the case. And then the second level of the game like comes up, and like bam, like there are a lot of ways for you to go to and explore, and like every possible mission, every possible player's confusing and maddening amount of paths for you to go to and look for treasure chests, like with cosmetics, health, and other items for you to ease up the combat a little. But this kind of aspect in exploration is expected, and it's like it's expected, this kind of thing. But now we get to the secret areas in this game, which I like a lot. These areas are so secret that you can miss most of them even when you're looking hard enough. You're someone that goes to, even though like if you're going through every corner, you might able to like look for like 2 or 3 of them, like some of the secret areas, but not all of them, as some of them are like very hidden. You'll not access them unless you look them up in a guide. I'm just happy, and I really like how you can completely miss these very big secret areas completely and have no clue that they were even there, present there. You can really beat the whole game by just missing really missing the major parts of this game. And I just wish that there was like a little more nudge from the developers to help players, nudge the players in the right direction of these secret places. Just a little more like clues for the player to discover for themselves, and not to go look up for it in a guide. So I'm very satisfied and pleased with the exploration in this game, and don't really have any problems with it, but just like these little nitpicks that I mentioned, like aforementioned little nitpicks. I think us humans would like always want more and find faults in everything, even though what we have is really good. And now I'll get to the other bigger part of the gameplay, the combat, the best part of this game. The combat in Black Myth Wukong is like it's an in between of the Souls-like combat and a character action game. It's Souls-like in a sense, like you're just locking onto an enemy and rolling around and dodging them, and every attack or dodge roll has a stamina cost, so you can't just mindlessly attack like that in some other action games. At the start, in your first very playthrough, you have to be mindful that you don't run out of stamina during the boss battle, as you don't have like overall stamina. It's like very low, but that's the part of the progression. As you get better stamina, and it becomes a non-issue after some time, and you unlock skills and stances to do some extra moves, and add some extra flair in your minute to minute gameplay. And the aforementioned stances are pretty cool. Those are very situational. They're very infrequently used. I wish there was a better use of them, but they feel really good. You know, you can climb on top of your staff to avoid taking damage from it. You can charge up to your focus points. Those 3 or 4 gold dots that you're seeing in the right corner, you can charge them up by with the normal attacks, and you can do that like spin attack from your staff whenever any projectiles are coming at you. It looks really cool and charges up your focus bar significantly. And once you charged with the focus points up to 2 or 3, or Lord forbid 4 points in your with your focus, and you hit your opposition so hard by pressing the hard attack button, just once heavy attack button, and you can instantly do that by just you can instantly do your very hard fourth focus attack by just charging up your initially by just charging up your focus with the light attacks, or you can hold the heavy attack button and accordingly and release ASAP, as soon as possible whenever you're about to get attacked, from the enemy or anyone, whoever is coming at your way. You can do that with the pillar stance too, but it feels like the thrust stance heavy attacks is much faster. You can upgrade the stance to do some realistic moves and bring a good amount of serviceable amount of variety to the combat. You look really sick while dashing away from the enemy attacks and do a long range thrust attack and some other quick little thrust pokes at the enemies. And you can there are a lot of things in this combat. You can grab the spirit transformations whenever you fight the mini bosses and defeat them. I thought and you can really activate those spirit transformation for a short time, but you transform for long enough to really turn the tides of the battle whenever things are getting whenever things are really stacked against you. And when there's this there's also this one more other type of transformation in which you do massive damage attack, and then you return to your normal form. It does a lot of damage. Try to do it as soon as possible, as it can recharge for one more time to use at a later point in a battle. Try using most of them, a lot of the other spirit transformation, and don't stick to just one of them. Some of them are just a big weaknesses to your enemies. It might not feel like that the other transformation and other things are not as useful, but they really are useful. Try using all the other ones. You can just non-stop stagger your enemies to the victory in this game with the end of the light attack combo, and then the massive damage from your transformation attack, and another stagger, and then your heavy attack with all the focus points, then your spirit attack transformation, and then attack them with the the normal attacks, charge some of the power moves, and then hit the enemies with that one, one more stagger. Like there are a lot of ways to stagger. I can't even remember, but I mentioned some of them here. To like it really completely brings down the enemy or make it fall to the ground, and then like continuously do the light attacks on them to charge up your focus points, and then do the heavy attack. And it's a continuous, it's a very like satisfying, it's a continuously satisfying cycle to avoid the enemy attacks and just completely hopelessly like trap your enemies in a loop. I think it takes about 3 seconds to drop your enemy and drop your enemy and make your enemies miserable, and like never let them escape the torment. and and now to the last part of this game. Now the story of the Black Myth Wukong. I won't get much into the spoilers, but for some people, for me, the information, like any information about the story, is kind of a spoiler. But I won't really get into anything like in detail. So for me, Black Myth Wukong slowly kind of became a very personal game. As I also like have a like freedom thing kind of going on in my life, as I'm like constantly fighting with my parents. Like it's never been like about 10 years, it's been like really rough with me. I'm really trying to step out of the shadows, so it's just I kind of relate to Sun Wukong and the Destined One, the monkey, in that way. So I think it was cool. The final battle was just perfect. It's beautiful, the scenery, the landscape, the grand grand soundtrack, the stakes, the walk up to that beautiful mountain. It just hits. There's nothing like it. It's really cool. There's one more thing that Black Myth Wukong does in the final boss in the second phase. It just blew my mind. It hasn't been done anything like that in any game. I think it floored my jaw the first time it happened. I think those who have played the game, I probably know what I'm talking about. I won't mention it here, but the final boss does something in the second phase during the mid battle, and it kind of scared me. I think that was a very genuine move, awesome move. I think the person who came up with that idea really deserves a raise. I think the game science just I'm really thank you to the game science for just making it up. Whatever they will do, I'll be here to bite. I want more stuff like this. It's too awesome. It's too awesome for me to like come out here and talk about it. Anyway, like thanks a lot like for listening to me here, guys, just rambling nonsensically about this here. And please just like and subscribe, guys. I'm trying to make a channel here. Please share this video and like increase the views for me, and subscribe. I'm gonna be making videos like this about I'm still figuring things like these out. I'm trying to make videos like this for about 10 to 15 minutes, but I don't really know. I'll always end up making them too long. So I'm gonna try to make 10 to 15 minute long videos with better writing about the games that I really do enjoy. Just let me know the comments if you want me to cover something up or play a game that you really like. So please stick around, guys. Anyways, like really, guys and gals, thank you for this. I hope you have a good day, and once again, very thank you. Thank you a lot. Love you.